So thank you for taking the time to talk to me today, Thea. Could you start by telling me a bit about how OUTROP works and how it was actually set up, please?
Sure. OUTROP was set up back in 1999. This was after two actual undergrads from UK universities came out to the area of forest in which we now work, which is called Sabangau in southern Borneo. And they came out from two UK universities within a group, and the group were doing various things towards bachelor's projects. And these two specific students decided to survey for orangutans using a relatively new method at the time, where they counted orangutan nests that orangutans build to sleep in. And they completed their research for their bachelor's project. And it turned out that they actually found the biggest population of orangutans in the world. So following that, obviously they wanted to continue research there, and it was all quite exciting. And by 1999, they had set up a small group called OUTROP that started to survey the orangutan population and behaviour as well. Since then, we've grown into quite what we'd like to think was quite a developed organisation in terms of the research we conduct. We work on three key primates. So we record the behavioural data on orangutans, gibbons, and the red langurs that we have in the forest. And then we do three types of conservation work and a lot of biodiversity work as well. So making sure that we understand not only the primates that live in the forest, but the ecosystem that supports them.
Right.
So since about 1999, we've been developing these things, and now we're coming into 2013. And at some point during volunteer season is when we're busiest. And in 2012, we had a maximum people of 40 people in the forest in one day. So it's really developing well at the moment.
Excellent. All from two people. That sounds pretty amazing work. And so you said you're working in Sabangau, and they're the peatland swamps. Why are they so important for conservation?
Yeah, so there's peatland swamp forest in southern Borneo called Sabangau, and it covers quite a large area of Sabangau, a majority of which is protected. And we have a small area of that, which we call the research laboratory, and we are able to work in that area as scientific researchers and observe the wild animals that live there, either primates or various mammals via our camera track project. The reason the forest is so important is one, because it houses the world's largest population of Bornean orangutan and the world's largest population of our species of gibbon that we work with, but also because it's, as you might expect from a tropical forest, very biodiverse, and we probably have no idea of the exact number of species that live and exist there, and also because of the ecosystem services it provides. So as well as just being a tropical forest that obviously gives out a lot of oxygen and takes in a lot of carbon, it's also a peat swamp forest. So as the name suggests, their ground is made of quite a dense layer of peat that extends for quite some area, and peat holds an incredible amount of carbon. So in terms of carbon capture and climate change, what that could do if that's protected instead of deforested, it's a very important area to be aware of.
Right. And is the area being deforested at the moment?
No. OUTROP collaborate with a group within the local university, and that's how we're able to research here with their support and collaboration, supporting us for the Indonesian government. So the local university and us work together, and over the past years since we've been working here, in the early stages, it was actually originally a legal logging site. In the early stages of our development and working with Simtrop, we were able to make the logging illegal in the area. And since it became illegal over the couple of years after that, we were actually able to remove all the illegal logging that did continue after we made it illegal. So it's been a very huge development within the area and really fantastic. The distinction to be made is logging and mass deforestation. Logging that took place here was for specific tree species that are valuable to local communities or valuable to be traded in. It wasn't a site that was being deforested for mass plantations or mass areas. And we hope now that it's protected and that illegal logging no longer takes place, that will never be the case here.
So the work you're doing sounds excellent, Thea. Where does the funding come so you can carry on the research?
Our funding comes historically from orangutan charities. So throughout the world, there are charities that the public interact with, and the public give money to these charities. And those charities don't actually have their own field site. What they'll do is they'll have various field sites they're in contact with, other organisations who they support. So we're one of those organisations that get support from large orangutan-based charities. Obviously, in recent years, since we've developed our primate and mammal work, we've on to other groups that work with different species in a similar manner, and they give us funds as well. A huge amount of money comes from our volunteer program, intern program, and also collaborating PhD students who are able to find their funding for their project, which then helps the local staff with their salaries or specific data that the PhD students need to take. Most recently, on the 22nd of March, we are actually in a competition. We're in a public vote competition, which means that if OUTROP get the most votes between the 22nd of March and the 12th of April, we'll actually receive close to £20,000, which is actually a huge amount of money for us and could go very far into developing what we're doing at the moment. So we're really trying to push that as much as possible. So I know that we'll be able to put the link on the description of this video. So if anyone would like to vote after the 22nd of March, that would be fantastic for us.
Hopefully loads of people will do that out there listening to this. So that's where your funding comes from. And you said you get PhD students who come out there and work. Is the volunteering opportunities for students and just other people who are interested in conservation?
Yeah, so we have three ways in which students can come out and work with us. We have volunteers who can be studying anything or even not current students at the time. They can be of any age, anyone who's interested in just conducting some research in the Bornean forest. And they come out for 7 weeks, and we have 2 seasons a year of those 7 weeks. And we get a huge range of diversity of people from different countries all over the world and helping us research. It's a fantastic camp. Then we have interns who stay for 6 months and choose a specific primate to work on. So we have the Orangutan Project, the Gibbon Project, and the Red Langur Project. So after 6 months, you'll be amazingly well trained in behavioural data and coping with the physical activity that is walking through a peat swamp forest. And then finally, we have PhD students. So they usually approach us saying, I'd like to survey this species in your area. And then we collaborate with them and help them get the funding that they need to come out and work with us and our local staff to complete their 2 or 3 years field research.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, I'll put all the links on after this for people who are interested of going out to Borneo and work. So that's great. Thank you so much, Thea, for talking to me, and best of luck with all the work you're doing. And again, for that public vote, please do take the time to vote, everyone. It sounds like an excellent cause. So thank you.
Thanks so much.